Hail, hail, and welcome to the 34th edition of the Temporary Stand podcast, and we are a Hail, hail media production. This week, Richie is host for the evening, and we welcome myself and Johnser back on the stand. The lads take a look back at the impressive win against Hearts on Saturday past, as we look at the attackers and the goals, as well as touching on Lucas Zaluska's performance as they replaced Fraser Foster in nets. We touch on the new signings and the impact each may make in the coming weeks. We then move on and look at Gary Hooper and his potential transfer to the EPL, more specifically to Norwich, and we query, is Hoops really worth the money? We finish up with a wee note to the sad past of Celtic legend Sean Fallon. Nothing left to say now, but see you on the other side.
Okay, well, welcome to the Temporary Stand podcast number 34. Tonight we've got, in Belfast, we've got John.
How's it going?
And in Camersland we've got Scott.
How are you, lads?
And we're supposed to have Johnny tonight, but he's not online for some reason. He claims he is, but this is what happens when you're with your mammy and you've only got a 3G connection on your phone. all the adults have got the internet and they've got a laptop. But we'll crack on anyway. So Celtic won 4-1 on Saturday. We beat Hearts. Gary Hooper scored a couple. Scott, you were at the match. Was it as cold as it looked?
It was Baltic, mate. It was Baltic, but for the first time in a wee while, it was really, really good football. It wasn't just a case, it was good goals. I mean, we beat, the talk was, you remember last time when we battered Hearts at their midden, that the football wasn't great, but we scored good goals. I really enjoyed some of the football. Some of the play, we were knocking the ball about and all that was brilliant. Right. The goals themselves, cracking, and I just tweeted something on the Temporary Stand there. I reckon you could have had 4 or 5 different man of the matches on the day. I think Hearts are a midden team. They're obviously a dire side and need us something, but the Celtic played good football and it was enjoyable. If it wasn't so cold, it would have been it would be one you'd be talking about for a wee while, to be honest.
And who would have been your man of the match if you had to pick one?
I says it there, I thought Sammy. Everything he done, he was involved in generally everything and all the flow. I understand, I just asked there, Adam Matthews got man of the match in the ground, which is understandable considering his impact and his running. But you look at it, I mean, Sammy was good, Hooper sticking the ball in the pokey. I thought Joe Ledley started slow, but he came into the game, had a really, really smashing game. He was unlucky, the Hearts goalkeeper made a cracking save for him. Or in the park, you had guys, I mean, the boys at the back, the goal's frustrating to concede. But I thought Sammy was involved in everything and it was very positive. It was, Johnny said a good while ago, it's good to see Sammy. Sammy's grew into a man for us, I think, with regards, he's leading the team, he's involved in everything, he seems to be talking to the younger guys and stuff like that. He's shown more than I thought we would ever get out of him, to be honest.
He's grown into the jersey. John, did you watch the game?
Did I? I think regarding Samras, I think it's a confidence thing as well. I think, in my opinion, before Celtic Samras, obviously his confidence was often low at times and other players would have kind of shouted at him and things like that, like Scott McDonald, you would have seen regularly, having a go at him regarding passes breaking down. So I think Sam Ross is probably his best spell right now at Celtic. So I think a lot of that's to do with confidence and more self-belief in himself, and that he's a big part of Celtic now. So, but regarding the game itself, I agree with Scott. I mean, I thought it was our best game at home probably this season. We were excellent all over the pitch. Ezegira was going by men. Matthews was going by players. When Yama was mopping everything up, the Hearts midfield just couldn't get past him. Every time they were getting run at him, he was taking the ball off him, playing good passes. And up front, Hooper was on fire. So it was really good performance, and I was glad to see it because I think we've been a bit stale before on the run up to Christmas. So really happy with the performance.
But do you think it was maybe a case that Hearts being dire, because they were dire, rather than Celtic being good, or was it a combination of the two, or maybe the early goal as well?
I think it's more a combination of the two. Regardless, the Hearts being dire, we seem to be a bit more spring in our step. As I say, we haven't really seen Ezekiel go by many players this season the way he's did in his first season at Celtic, but on Saturday he was knocking the ball past players and putting good balls into the box. Matthews was doing it as well. Commons, everyone seemed to be on the ball. So I think that obviously the winter breaks had a positive effect on players, giving a little bit of respite and put a bit of hunger back in them for the football again.
Yeah. And Scott, do you agree with that? The winter break maybe made a difference, going away for a week to Spain and that Dubai and elsewhere.
They looked interested. They all looked interested in getting hammered. And even Gary Hooper off times. I bemoan the fact that he gets a bit of criticism for dropping deep, trying to get himself involved in the game. There was a point yesterday where he actually came back into the right back position and won the ball. Do you know what I mean? Right. Everybody seemed to bust their arse on the pitch. I think the Gershon on the bench allowed the centre halves put pressure under them as well. Even though they've obviously come in, McGrew's come back in, Lustig's dropped in, and they guys are playing to keep their jersey, with regards Wilson being suspended and Ambrosi away. So everybody, it was good to see. As John rightly points out, Aguirre had a smashing game. Many times we've seen him knock the ball round defenders and get round the other side. It's not very often. And his crossing was particularly good. I can remember too, I think Lassade's goal came for a deep cross for watching on the BBC highlights again, because I missed the last two goals because I had to go to chapel.
It's acceptable to leave a Celtic game if you're going to chapel. That's the only reason it's acceptable. So. And that goal came down the left, but we were getting some amount of joy down the right, weren't we, with Matthews and Commons. Commons looked like he had an extra yard of pace. I thought maybe they were just a yard slow.
Sorry, John, on you go.
Oh no, I just think Commons is looking very trim at the minute. Sometimes him and Hooper can, because of their size, I guess, they can appear a little bulky at times. But Commons certainly looks fit, as fit as I've ever seen him. And down the right hand side, I thought Matthews as well was exceptional. I think Matthews might be our top provider of assists this season, so that's some going for a right back, So I was all the left backs and right backs were bombing forward at every opportunity. I think even just having guys in the side like Wanyama, it kind of gives him that freedom, because the guy's he's a beast. Like, he just mops up everything in the park, and you can see that players aren't afraid to go forward or take risks when he's in the side, because he is there to, if anything happens, to a type of insurance policy. Aye.
And Scott, talking about Gary Hooper, obviously during the week we had a bid from Norwich, which sounds like Hooper might have been interested in. How did you think his reaction to what went on and the fact he was rejected and that kind of thing, what Lennon was saying about him?
Well, it was good. It was good to see that, because that was his typical game on Saturday. I don't think he was outstanding at any particular junction. He worked as hard as he ever worked, and he stuck the ball in the pokey that we know he can do. So, there was always the allegations going with, do you remember Kai Allen, the infamous Kilmarnock game? He never tried a leg because he wasn't getting a contract or something like that. There was no sign of that for Hooper, no huffy puffy pants, you know what I mean? No. So that was good to see for him. He's getting paid his wages, he's done his job. I'm sure we'll come on to the speculation regarding his transfer and stuff like that, but I had no complaints about him on Saturday. I think, I don't mean to be cheeky when I say this, but guys at the game, sitting in the stands, you see as much work he does. I feel like it's a lot of criticism for folk who watch on the telly and you don't see his hard work and stuff like that. I was impressed. Again, he wasn't phenomenal, but he does his job. Now, he scored 2 goals, and I'm saying he's not phenomenal. Yeah.
You don't mean to be cheeky, but John, me and you as well go home now. We're not allowed to talk about it again because we're the game. Uber fan alert.
I was snowed in. That's mad.
Did you see the game, Richie?
I saw it telling. I did notice, talking about, you don't see, it's true, you don't see the amount of work players do after the ball on the telly, but Hooper was back at his 18-yard line at times, which I don't, do you think he does that a lot, Scott? Because I don't really notice him doing that as much. I thought he was trying extra hard on Saturday, maybe just to show the fans that...
No, mate, I've always said that we don't know. Do you remember when he was kind of struggling to get goals?
Aye.
We thought that maybe he was dropping too deep to get the ball to get involved, but I don't know. I mean, I don't know if it's a thing against Hearts. Maybe Hearts just really, really upset the boys. Do you know what I mean? Because that was the other standout game. Hearts away was the one that I thought Hooper bust his arse, and I remember chasing him doing fullbacks. Chasing doing fullbacks and chasing doing wide midfielders and stuff. No, I think he does it generally every week. Your hope is that he doesn't need to do it, and all your midfielders, and you're just supplying them. I mean, I think it stands out for me was at the Hearts semi-final, and there was a guy behind me bemoaning Hooper, going, bloody Hooper, he's done nothing, and I'm going, well, we've not stuck the ball in front of him, and I think we've done it, just for Mulgrew to cross in late on in the game, and he scored. I think it was his first chance. I mean, late on in the game, and you're kind of going, I don't know. I think Hooper's a smashing player, and I think it'd be a big loss if we decide to cash in.
Aye, we'll talk about that a wee bit after we've finished up in the game. Johnser, Fraser Foster was missing. He's got a neck injury. What did you think of Zaluska as a stand-in?
Yeah, he didn't do anything wrong. I mean, I didn't really notice much, to be honest. Wasn't on my radar. He didn't do anything wrong, and he wasn't asked to pull any important saves off. So he's decent backup, but obviously Fraser Foster is your first pick every game, no matter what. So.
And Scott, you were at the game, so you'd know a lot better than us. Did he look comfortable?
Mate, aye. Did he look what? Comfortable?
Aye.
It took me a bit of time to notice because I was trying to pick fucking ice cubes out my fucking eyes, but I mean, did they have it? I think he made one decent save in the game. I think, but as John says, that kind of covers it. I mean, we know what we've got with Zaluska. Zaluska's he's took a role of, you mind that fella in Newcastle for 100 years, Harper. He's took that role and he's getting his dough. He's probably getting some good dough at Celtic, and he's enjoying it, and he's probably got a nice big house and all that, and he gets to play twice a year. Happy days for him.
Aye. And John's, are we worried about Foster, his injury, that he sounds like he might be out for the next couple of games? Do you worry about him for the Juve match?
Well, I heard, obviously it's just the internet, that it was just a minor tear or minor neck injury that wasn't that serious, but maybe you could see landing with one eye on the Juve match, that they didn't want to take any risk with him.
Aye.
So I think it's more probably to do with that there than anything else.
Aye, probably. And talking about Hearts, they were terrible, but Danny Wilson, I think was this his first match for him, but how did this boy ever get a move to Liverpool?
Propaganda. Aye, propaganda. Yeah. I hate agreeing with John, but he's on the ball there. I mean, it's the great white hope, innit? Rangers, it was always the way they fling up like that. I mean, they're talking about some, I don't even know their names, you know what I mean, but they're talking about players. I was sitting talking to a Rangers fan over Christmas, and he was saying, sorry, a Sevco fan, and he was saying, oh, this boy Mackay, he's a real deal and all that, and I'm saying, he's bamming me up. and the papers are, they need to sell somebody, they need to put somebody on a pedestal every time, and Danny Wilson was the guy. I mean, if I saw him playing for Scotland, it was muck.
Aye.
Yeah, see, I said it was too bad on Saturday, but he never stood out at any particular junction sitting there going, this guy's in loan for Liverpool, do you know what I mean?
Oh, I thought he was terrible. He's slow, he's passing, just all over the place. But getting the fact they got a Scotland cap was a joke. I'd say he'd struggle to get a match for Sevco now in the 3rd division. Who's this boy Mackay? I've never even heard of him.
Barry Mackay, I think his name is. I don't know. He was blather known about a couple of young lads who are the real deal, and I was like, the real deal in the 3rd division. Fantastic.
Good one.
Aye, exactly.
But when you're in the 3rd division, you haven't got much else to blabber on about, so.
Exactly.
Records, mate. Record appearances.
When you have to rely on Sandaza to score your only goal at Peterhead, then I suppose anybody's half decent. But Joe, did you see the Green Brigade banner, Johnser, about Hearts?
I seen him post game. I didn't see him during the game. I was too busy concentrating on the game for.
I think you can appreciate a banner on the internet as much as you can if you're at the game. Is that right? But what did you think? Did you think it was good or what?
Fair play to them. I like seeing the Palestinian flag. And I like the Group Brigade one about the flash was pretty funny. And I think just to bomb people up, really. Like, I mean, hard search. They're a bunch of failed. They're a bunch of failed supporters. They're every bit as bad as the Huns, in my opinion. So anything that annoys them is good for me.
And Scott, do we want all these teams gone bust, do we? And just left ourselves?
We're going to end up somewhere then, don't we? Surely somebody will move his league if we're sitting about.
Last man. Well, at least we'll win the league every year. We'll win the Champions League every year. We'll be the last man standing. I thought the banner was good. But were the Hearts fans, did they seem to care, Scott, or whatever? Was it about 150 of them, was it?
A decent amount of them, but same as usual. What are they going to do? Huff and puff and blow the house down? I mean.
Sure. Alright, anybody else they want to talk about the match? Anything I've missed out, or any you noticed? No?
Yeah.
What about you, Johnny? What about Johnny? Johnny, you there? No. He's not there, he loves his mammy.
Lasad's turning out to be a pretty good player for us.
Aye.
He's finishing smashing. I mean, I looked at that goal again. That's
a good goal.
First time. It's very similar to the last goal he scored against Hearts.
I thought it was excellent technique for the goal. It looked simple, but on the replay it was good.
That was a good touch. So
it was.
You're getting this big boy in a free, but that's a good move as well. I can see him being important. I can see him being important in the UV games. He's I don't know. He's not the same, but he's kind of similar in terms of height and stuff like the big Sammy. And he's and he offers you. He looks, as you said, very technically good. I think that looks like it's going to be another good signing for us.
I think so. And if you were going to pick one of the ones, him and Miku, who was going to struggle, you'd maybe pick the African guy coming from Spain rather than the other guy, I suppose. Just thinking he wouldn't be, I suppose Venezuela as well. But I mean, he seems to be adapting the bother to the
casual racism, man.
I've had a bad experience with North Africans before, mate.
Two thumbs up to casual racism. Yeah.
Nice. Anyway, so Lasad looking decent. Miku again. He's went after radar. I don't think we'll be talking about him again probably. But we'll go and move into part 2 and we'll have a wee chat about Gary Hooper. We talked about it earlier, but we'll just talk about it in a bit more detail. Right, so welcome back to part 2. Like I say, Gary Hooper during the week there was a $5 million bid from Norwich City for him, which Celtic rejected. And sounded Scott or John, whoever wants to take it, that sounded like Hooper might have been up for it.
I'll start it off for it. Gary Hooper, I believe that Gary Hooper wasn't fussed one way or another regarding Norwich. I don't believe Norwich is the correct club for Hooper. You wouldn't want to go down and get involved in a relegation battle. There's often not many goals to be had, knowing a team which isn't playing with confidence. I expect Gary Hooper to leave, whether it's this January, I'm not so sure, but maybe the summer. But I think Gary Hooper could get a better club in Norwich, and I do believe Celtic get better money than $5 million that's been reportedly offered. So I suspect Lennon's had a talk. There's an offer on the table. I would hazard a guess it's around the 25k mark, maybe a little bit better. But whether if he does stay in it, I still expect Hooper to be away. But the guy's obviously still happy enough to be here. Lennon said that himself, that Gary accepts that it's been refused, and he's very happy to be here. So it's just one of those things where Norwich are a bit desperate, and the test of the water were a cheeky £5 million bid, and Celtic are not in a position where they certainly need the money, so they've knocked the bid back, and rightly so. And I'd rather see Gary Hooper stay and accept £5 million at this time.
Aye. Well, I think Norwich are desperate for a goal scorer there. They're not scoring many goals. Scott, do you ever get embarrassed the fact that one of our best players is getting linked with Norwich City? No.
I'll tell you, I was thinking about it. It would have been a day. In fact, I was thinking about it. I was watching Match of the Day. I had Match of the Day recorded for last night, and I was watching it today, and I was thinking about players who have left Scotland are we a wee bit deluded to think that we should be getting over £10 million for players?
No.
How do we know? I mean, we're looking at the fucking English league and how much money guys go for there, and we generally equate on the back of that. Gary Hooper, I mean, I don't know. You used to look at some of the guys who've left Scotland and go to England, and generally, the bigger transfer fees are coming for guys who have worked with the players in the past, be it, what's his name, Boomsong was one to start, he's Stan Petrov going down, and I don't know, I just think that we're maybe being a wee bit unrealistic about what Gary Hooper's going to do, because the guys are going to be looking for people who are proven in that league and proven. That's what you don't see many massive amounts of money getting paid for other leagues, so do you really?
Well, I think you have to take in context that it is the EPL. Let's look at players who went down there. We got Fletcher. Fletcher now had a decent record in Scotland. I wouldn't say Fletcher was the outstanding goal scorer in Scotland, but he subsequently went to Wolves, and he scored around 10 goals maybe a season, around that mark, and he's gone for what, £14 million? You look at the Hun went down, who do you call him? The Hun's top goal scorer is the Bosnian or Croatian.
Jelavic.
He went down there. The Huns were in a mess, had to sell. If you wanted to buy Jelavic tomorrow, you're talking 15 million starting. So these aren't real.
I don't argue with that point at all. But I'm saying that generally the guys who cost big money are the guys who have proved they can score in that league.
You're right, Scott. So I mean, John, you're saying Jelavic and Fletcher, but they went down for 3.5 million or something. And they went down there and proved themselves. So Hooper could go to Norwich for 5 million. If he scores 20 goals, then somebody will buy him for 12.
Yeah, I never came to the point Hooper going to Norwich. I think Norwich would be a good fit, because the way Norwich play football, Norwich still play football the kind of old-fashioned way. They don't play with the forward player who floats about the whole attacking half. Norwich still rely very much on the Grant Hall, feed it in front of him and he'll score goals, and Grant Hall's not had a great season. So I think Hooper might actually embrace Norwich. Norwich might be, do you really want to go to Norwich as a place maybe, but there's Gary Hooper for he was at Scunthorpe, so
he's an Essex lad.
An Essex boy, but
Norwich looks alright. I saw it in Alan Partridge, it looked good.
Mate, you've been to Norwich, what are you talking about?
I know, I went to work in Norwich just for the viewers or the listeners' knowledge, and I lasted a week. I didn't think much of it, but that was a few years ago. Maybe it's improved since. But Scott, so we're talking about like how good is he and that kind of thing. Well, tell me a Premiership player that you would equate Gary Hooper with at the moment. You know, how good is he? He's not a Van Persie. What is he? Is he a Darren Mackey, or is he a Ben Teke, or is he a what? That
is very much what I would have him doing. Look, Gary Hooper has got. I think he's got a ton of pace. We saw it against the Huns a couple of times in the past couple of seasons. But he doesn't often get a chance to use that burst of pace in Scotland, because you've basically got 5 guys who just sit deep, and he's really got to create, hence what we're talking about, that he has to drop deep to get the ball and start and then get himself back in the box. So you think about it, if it's I think he's at this level the new Dan Mackey, is it Dan Mackey, aye?
The boy, QPR boy, Jamie Mackey, sorry.
Jamie Mackey, that's the fella. That's no far off. I like Gary Hooper, and I think he's got potential to be a smashing player. But has he got all the things needed to be a top-notch striker? I don't know. He's still got a wee bit to prove there. We'll see. I mean, he done well against Spartak Moscow away from home. I'd say that was his best ever Celtic performance. But Spartak Moscow weren't great don't get me wrong, I don't want to put them down too much because they gave us a fright in both games, but they weren't great.
No.
And I mean, you saw Gary Hooper's limitations to an extent in the new camp. His control's not very good. Obviously, I'm not equating him to Henrik Larsson, but Henrik Larsson in games like that was a fantastic outball. You passed the ball to him and it stuck with him, and he broke fouls down. He took it to the corners. He gave the team a rest, and Hooper never done that in the new camp. And had guys like Sammy and Scott Brown not been injured, I would have been looking for Miku to come on again. Sure, I've said that a million times, but that's what I think that Gary Hooper's lacking for that. Don't get me wrong, he can learn that, but I think that's what he's lacking, the new.
Well, I disagree entirely regarding that. I think Gary Hooper is a top player. If I had to kind of look at an English player or playing in the EPL who kind of resembles the same characteristics as Gary Hooper, would be a Defoe. Gary Hooper's an excellent finisher. His goal on Boxing Day was superb. His strike against Spartak Moscow at home was superb. I mean, there's not too many guys down in England who've scored in the Champions League, even this season. There's English players are all struggling this season to score in the Champions League. The Champions League's the pinnacle of world football, and Gary Hooper's got 2 goals in 4 games. I mean, that's great. Against Barcelona, no striker really has a good game against Barcelona unless they're exceptional. It's not Gary Hooper's game to hold the ball up. Gary Hooper's game is to use he's quick over 5-10 yards, gets the ball in front of him, has a wee burst of pace, and he can finish. That's Gary Hooper's game, or Gary Hooper.
Well, that's the point though that Richie's saying. I mean, see nowadays though, you need to be able to hold the ball up as well as. So that's how Jermaine Defoe, as you said, Jermaine Defoe's found that he struggled to get a game for the England team all the years and struggled to keep a place in his club team for years.
You try and buy Wayne or Defoe. I mean, Defoe's had some pretty big moves. So he's
been sold a couple of times because, like Scott says, he doesn't quite fit into the one up front that a lot of teams play. So that maybe Norwich would be a good fit for him. I think he's got maybe about a Jamie Mackey level, but he could the potential to be a Defoe. Maybe a similar sort of player. I wouldn't say he's up there yet, but
he's young enough. I'm not dismissing the boys, but I agree that he's still got a bit to go.
Aye.
And he's looking to do. If you're a striker and if you're an English striker, you've got to be looking to do, and it's the weakest strike force England have had for a long, long time. And if there's ever a chance for somebody to get in, and you think about it, has Gary Hooper even been in a squad? Even though he's been, I think injury denied him once, but he must be looking to go. And if I just get my face down there, I could understand his thinking. I think he would be daft. We said that last week. I think he would be daft to move the new for himself personally, but I can understand the attraction of the league.
I think we all can, aye. But I mean, he's watching Norwich get cuffed 5-0 off Liverpool. He knows he's playing Juventus next month, so you'd hope that would be enough to keep him until the summer at least, and then maybe punt him then, depending on how well he does between now and the end of the season. But I suppose we'll talk about the other couple of signings. Do you think we'll do any more business at transfer window, John, or are you happy with the 2 boys, Gershon and Rogic?
I don't know anything about the Israeli lad at all. The fact that he's been lent out to, where was he, Standard Liège? Did he lent him?
He was in Belgium, aye. So you don't know much about him. What about the Australian boy?
The Australian boy looks like a good. He's kind of like he's the type of signing I would expect Neil Lennon and John Park to go with now. He's got a lot of potential. He's 20 years old. He won this competition when there's 75,000 other kids, and he get down to the last 8. So this NAIC competition. So obviously the guy he's got a bit of talent. I've seen videos of him playing in the Australian League. I don't want to judge them because I don't know how good the Australian League is at all, so I couldn't have any kind of barometer to gauge him at. But from what I've seen in the videos, he's got excellent technique. He can certainly hold on to the ball and go around players, and we're crying out for some sort of creativity. But my big fear is at Celtic is anybody who's kind of creative rarely gets put through the middle and instead gets landed on the wing. We've seen that with Maloney, with McGeady, even Lugo didn't get played enough through the middle in my opinion. Chris Campbell was out there. I mean, Celtic are content to have players like Scott Brown in midfielder, which I don't know, it's not my cup of tea. So that's my concern. Will he be able to get a chance in his natural position?
Right, aye. So, do you think this guy might be the mythical number 10 we've all been talking about, or what?
I don't know, mate. I can't really. I've not even looked at a YouTube video or nothing.
Neither have I.
So I have no idea. As John says, I've read umpteen articles that all say the same thing in a newly regurgitated way. I have no idea. Hopefully we get to see him soon enough, and he's the best player in the world.
Aye, but one positive you might think, rather than YouTube videos, which after Mo Bangura, we know we're not going to rely on, but the fact that Lennon gave him a trial and liked what he saw enough to pay the money straight away, which isn't really the Celtic way. Usually we'll let them go and invite them back on another trial or something, or we don't go near them. But he must have made a real impression on Lennon, that Lennon said, right, get this boy signed now.
Well, I think a lot of our clubs were interested. I mean, he had to move to Reading, which kind of it fell through. I'm not too sure why. Some other clubs were interested in him, maybe QPR, and so I think the pressure was on a wee bit to get him signed up. And he's a Serbian background. Young type players usually quite technical, so that makes sense. I mean, I'm not saying he's the next great white hope, but I mean, certainly I'd like to see the fact that he's young and he's got good technique and he's got a good reputation, so it bodes well. But we'll have to wait and see how he gets on.
That's another racial stereotype that Serbians have got a good touch. Big Zigic playing for Birmingham.
Andy were an AK.
Cut that, Scott. Cut that. But Scott, so 2 players in the January window. We've not sold anybody I can think of. You happy or what?
Content. I don't think we. It really all depends on the selling, as I've said a good few times. You sell somebody, we've got to be looking to get something in, especially if they're going to be. Like, I mean, even if Miku goes, we're talking about Miku, and there's still that rumour kind of floats about that if we could break that contract, we probably would. I'd still like his. I mean, we're talking about this boy Ročić or Rogic or whatever how you pronounce it.
The Australian boy.
Are we expecting him to come in and as we say, we're talking about number 10. Are we actually expecting this guy to come in and take a place in the centre part? We were talking, myself and Johnny and Mark were talking about it last week, saying that for the big games, we reckon Neil Lennon's got a team in mind, and I think the boys got to be something really, really special to come in and implement himself and stop himself just being a Lassad and a guy who's going to come in and cover when guys are unfit or he doesn't want to take a risk on them. I'm happy with the team we've got, to be perfectly honest. I wouldn't be, if we get somebody else in who's top notch, then fantastic. If we don't, I'm not going to agree about it.
Aye. And John, would you think, like guys like a Dylan McGeoch will be thinking that Celtic have signed a player who sounds maybe similar enough to him, same age, will sign the guy, rather than, and he doesn't seem to be progressing?
I had high hopes for McGeoch. It's a strange one, because when he first came on the scene, he played a few games, he scored that wonder goal. You're kind of going, yeah, young lad, good technique. No, give him a chance, but for whatever reason, it hasn't worked out, and he's not getting brought on, which is strange. So I'm kind of puts McGeoch down the pecking order a little bit, but it's football. It's the survival of the fittest, and we looked at the situation a year and a half, similar situation with Wanyama when he came in, wasn't it January as well? And he came in and he was, as Lennon says, he was a year or two project, but he hit the ground running. So there's nothing to stop this guy doing the same. I do think it'll take him 6 months or so to acclimatise. Maybe get used to training and things. I don't know how.
Learn the language and that.
Well, no, but you know, I mean, he grew from Australia, different culture, colder. You know, I'd say Celtic's training's a lot more rigorous than what he was used to in the A-League. So,
where are you basing that on?
And the fact that the A-League's absolutely rubbish. Well,
It's Del Piero.
Like, yeah, exactly. Del Piero scoring like 4 and 5, and he's like 39 or something.
Good.
But do you know what I mean? I do think Celtic's a step up from the A-League, to be honest. So we'll take him time to adjust. But I mean, just have to stop him hitting the ground running.
Fair enough, but I don't know. I think most A-League teams could probably beat most SPL teams. But, and now I'm saying that somebody who's never watched the Australian League in my life. But generally, Scott, that many stereotypes in this podcast, one of them must be true.
Must be true,
right? Anyway, Scott, Dad, what did you think about McGeoch, or is that think that's just a moot point?
It's frustrating. It's always, we heard about this boy, and obviously he was tipped for great things. He's a youngster, ended up crossing the divide and come back again, and he did. We kind of certainly built ourselves that he was going to come in and be a very important. There's not to say that he won't be. I mean, you can always look at guys like Liam Miller in the past who didn't really turn up as a player till he was 21, 22. So there's by no stretch, and as John says, he's come in the past and looked very, very good. So we can't write him off by any stretch, but you do wonder why he's no getting a shift, why he's no the first substitute every week. It's a wee bit concerning for his progress, but ultimately, if Celtic are winning, are you going to be that upset, to be honest?
No, not really. But I was reading the Pep Guardiola biography, and they were saying how he doesn't really like players with funny haircuts and tattoos. Like, that counts against you with Pep. Do you think? And you know, you can maybe tell something about those kind of players. Now, Miguel, he doesn't seem that type. Tony Watt maybe has that about him, and maybe that's why he's not, you know, progressing as much, and maybe Lennon's trying to cut him down to size a little. This boy Rogic, I'm looking at the internet, has got a short back and sides and no tattoos. That might count in his favour, Scott.
Well, we've got, who's that? Connor's pal, Lustig, is a favourite, and he's silly haircuts and moustaches and hundreds of tattoos. I think Neil Lennon likes cocky punters, to be perfectly honest. I think like he likes people who'll be in your face and tell you what they're going to do. You know what I mean? I think that's his.
Gary Hooper has a funny haircut and he gets a game every week, so.
Aye, that's stupid accent.
So it's just another stereotype that went right. Right, before we'll cut this part off, before we insult any more ethnic groups or people with funny haircuts.
We might as well go for everybody.
Right, the next part we'll be talking about Americans and somebody else, some other minority group. I'll think of one.
Scottish.
Right, so welcome back to part 3. Just before we go, we'd just like to obviously quickly mention Celtic's legend Sean Fallon, who died at the age of 90 on Friday. I suppose he's well known as being Jock Stein's assistant in Lisbon, but he was also a Celtic great himself as a player. Between 1950 and 58 he played for us. 254 appearances, the Iron Man. Scott, he played with a broken collarbone. He went off. We weren't allowed subs back in those days, so he played with a broken collarbone, went off, came back on, played with a sling. You kind of see this era any player doing that, could you?
No, that's brilliant, man. I like Sean Flaherty. I can't. Out of all the guys, he is. I mean, the Adrian you just said there, he is proper old school. He's even older school than the old school that we talk to. Do you know what I mean? I don't think my dad would even have seen Sean Fallon play, but anybody that's linked to the club for that long deserves. He's obviously a top man. He's obviously a top football man. He certainly deserves your respect, even though we've never saw him play. There's a fantastic picture you often see was up on the big screen at Celtic Park, is the one of him and Jokestein coming out and he's suited and booted and he's running down the line. It's a fantastic picture. I remember buying a DVD, if you know, DVD, it was a video, if you know the history, and they spoke to him a good few times and he came across like a really, really dynamite guy. He was telling about that he actually changed his date of birth and all that. He changed his age so he could get signed on. He was a wee bit older than they thought, than they told them, just so he could play for the Celtic. So, brilliant, a character, and the term legend gets flung about so easily in this day and age, and that guy is a true legend, and it's a sad day for his family. It's a sad day for Celtic fans as a whole, I think, and God bless him.
Right, well, so say all of us. John, interesting, I don't know if you know this, but I had heard this, but I was just reading the Celtic Wiki earlier on, and the reason he became associated with Celtic was because the son of Jimmy McMenemy, who was a Celtic legend as well as a player, who was born in Rutherglen, funnily enough, but he saved Sean Fallon's sister from drowning, and then Fallon invited Joe McMenemy, the son, he invited the son back to his house, and when the boy went home, he sent Sean a Celtic shirt and Willie Maley's book through the post, and that's how Sean Fallon, became associated with Celtic. That was his first association anyway. He played a wee bit of Irish football, and then Celtic signed him from Glenavon. Did you know that?
Did I, actually? I read that in the huddle board on Friday. But, again, that kind of adds to the romanticism of Celtic. That little story, little anecdote about Harry came to the club, and it adds something to the legend of Sean and to the romanticism of Celtic. And by all means, as I says, Scott already alluded to, we're all quite young in comparison, so we wouldn't have seen him or wouldn't have been supporting the club at the time that he was involved. But he's, from everyone who talks about it, speaks about him, he was a gentleman, and just simply he came across as a class act, and I was really happy that he got the unfurled league flag this season, and just before he died in 90, he's a good inning, so I'm sure he's up there now where Big Jack chewing the beef.
Aye. And Scott, did you ever meet him?
No, I did not. I did not. No, I've saw photos. I've been a few people I know, or certainly say I don't get to meet people. I really don't. See people who meet people. I don't ever meet people ever. see Toy Tim, Paul Gillespie off the board. He meets hundreds of people. He always sends me photos and he meets people. I don't meet people. I meet you guys. That's
maybe
guys on the internet.
Maybe people avoid you.
You meet us on Skype.
Or it could be people avoid you. No, you're not meeting people, it's people avoid you.
I certainly believe that. I think people avoid me. You're right.
I know I do. But I used to meet Celtic players just when I played football when I was a boy, and they used to come to the presentation nights. That was about it. Tommy Burns and Chris Morris and Paul Elliott and all them.
I like Chris Morris as a boy, and he was due to come to the St Bride's team to give out the awards and stuff like that, and he couldn't make it. And we get Derek White. I don't like Derek White.
I met Tommy Burns and Paul McStay near knocked me down at Celtic Park.
Talking Paul McStay, Sean Fallon scouted him and recommended him to the club. He also recommended Danny McGrain.
Never read that.
No.
And he also brought Packy Bonner to Celtic, which depends on the point of view if you think that's a good or a bad thing. I'd say a good thing.
Hey.
Scott's sticking up for his Donegal brethren in there, but
Donegal Mafia.
Exactly.
Me.
He wouldn't be getting back in the house if he's got enough.
The wind to be off.
A good quote from Lou Macari was, "Every club in Britain should employ a man of his calibre," which I'd agree with. But like say, he's just one of those guys. You always think of him being on the periphery. He was an assistant. You don't remember him much as a player. He's a defender, a rugged one at that. So I suppose they don't really get their due. But
see on that point, Richie, a lot of people in life in general terms in life, it's always the big men or the ones who are at the forefront get all the kudos. But often it's the guys behind the scenes that are a pivotal part of a team when they make things happen. So I think Mr. Fallon falls under that where I'm sure Celtic wouldn't have been as successful, or Jack wouldn't have been as successful without guys like Sean Fallon working behind the scenes.
Yeah, fair enough. I'd agree with that. Aye. So, anything else you'd like to add, lads, for this week, or will we sign off? A wee bit shorter this week, seeing as I'm hosting and Marty's not. Marty, no.
Azaguirre. What is it?
Is it Gary?
So we've got three choices. It's Azaguirre, or Azaguirre. Is that it?
I think there's an A at the end of Azaguirre, or something, one of the two, but it's no Azaguirre like John was saying last week. And McGeoch, is it McGeoch? How do you pronounce that one? I actually tweeted him about that, but he never tweeted me back.
See, that's the problem with these young players. John Fallon had been on Twitter back then, he would have replied about it.
But that was an easy one. Fallon, you can't get that right.
True. Alright, so if anybody wants to send us a tweet telling us how we pronounce Emilio Azaguirre, whatever his site name is, how you pronounce that, and Dylan McGeoch, or McGough, one of them, let us know. And any other thoughts, or if you want us just to stop making these podcasts.
Wait, no, Tony Casty, at Tony Casty 123, 2 thumbs up to Tony Casty.
Tony Casty just sent us a tweet, actually, Scott.
Yes, he just sent a tweet, and it's got commentary on YouTube. I'm not going to play it, but he says Azaguirre. So,
right here.
I'm not saying you're wrong, I'm just saying, because it was last week Johnny dug me up, didn't he? He says Azaguirre.
Well, I usually think when Johnser says something, it usually probably is wrong, but maybe this time if Tony Casty, who seems to know his stuff, is backing him up, this may be one of the rare occasions, Johnser, where you're right, you know.
Could be a turning point.
Could be
I don't
a
care
turning
if
point.
John's right, as long as the other John's right.
Pretty much that's what I think as well.
Aye.
I don't like Johnser being right either, but anyway.
We'll open up the next one, right? You've got Sebastian Coates at Liverpool. Mm-hmm. And the guy was born in Uruguay. His dad was Scottish. In Scotland it's Coates. In Uruguay they say Coates. Who's right? Is it Coates or Coates?
It's funny because his dad was called Saul, wasn't it? So I was thinking he was Jewish or something like that. Saul Coates.
That's great.
End it now.
Alright. Well, Marty will be back next week with better jokes and a lot more professional way in every way. But thanks for joining us. Scott, thanks a million.
No worries, mate. See you soon.
Johnser, I don't really want to thank you, but
you have to.
Cheers, mate.
Alright, good day. Alright, lads.
That's it for another week. Hope you enjoyed this edition as usual. As always, any feedback, good or bad, is more than welcome. You can hit us up on Twitter at Temporary Stand. You can email us at temporarystand@hailhailmedia.com or get us on the usual message board. That's me. So good night, God bless, and hail hail.